Hey folks, we are back. Give me a second here to make sure that my signal's popping, and we're gonna put in a couple hours here for doing some the Spelljammer book cover. Looks like we're active. There it is. Okay, cool. As usual, like, subscribe, share. We're building a book. We've been doing the dev mechanics for it for a couple months, and so we're just now getting started on the artwork for the book production, so we'll be working on that. If you check in the description down below, there is my Twitter where I just posted that I've gone live. So if you've caught up with me, definitely catch me on Twitter so you can tag along. And right now I'm just dropping signal in the different Discords where I like to hang out. The DMsGuild Creators Lounge, Indestructible Boys Designosphere, and Trinit Monks, Drive Through RPG, Dungeoneers Pack, Classes and Constructs, Zipperon, Cleric Corner, Rich Mary, Fry Minis, and last place I would post is the Wizard of the Coast D&D Discord mothership. So now that I got all the techie stuff out of the way, I can switch our screen around. Boom, off into infinity. Let's get beyond. So I'm going to set timers for this session because we're going to be here for a few hours. So I want to have a timer. I don't know how many hours I'm going to be here, honestly. I'm going to start running 20-minute timers. 4:40 here, so the first time will be 5 o'clock. I'll probably put in 2 hours. That's probably what's going to end up happening. If I'm really feeling in the flow, we might kick to 3, but I don't want to overextend myself. So let's get into it. Hey, Spelljammer Combat Exploration. We've been designing the mechanics for this for the past year. It's part of the larger ink. Now let's get that nautiloid out of the way. We doing okay over here, buddy? Live. Doing okay. Looks like, yeah, okay, cool, everything's set. I'm getting the stability signal down in the corner down here, so I just wanted to make sure that I'm still flowing free. Let's see, Star Moth. I'm just laying down some line work, and I'm going to smudge it around. Here's the references that we're using. The general frame that I have came off of here. Obviously different dressing, but we'll be working on details today. Right now I'm working on the wings. Here's the other one, which we'll be borrowing from for the wings. And you see I've got that transparency in here depending on how much vein work there is in an area. So that's the kind of the idea. So we're just gonna kind of try to churn through this as much as we can. And yeah, so far so good. Hey man, how you doing? But I've stopped by anyway. Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Let's see. I got that ring, and then I got stuff kind of growing out of it, but not like quite literally. I'm going to be literal, so I'm going to do this. I'm just going to be sponging pixels, basically, I'm experimenting with textures and feeling to see what I like. Maybe I will do that. Go to 0. Maybe we'll do that. Yeah, like that. Not like that. A little cleaner there, Kearney, huh? A little cleaner. Let's go over here. I think I'll let her over there. Like that. I'm not sure if I like how that sits. That. Not that it really matters. That actually, yeah, that's actually really good. Cool. Leave that like that. All right, cool. So let's go to here and have these things clip into it. Just like that. Put in our initial. I think this is. I don't think I'll need to have more levels of detail on the wings in this. I'm going to do some underlayering. The layer between this and the wing itself. There's a space inside here that I can like do this type of stuff to change like the density of the crystal material. But I don't think I have to do. I don't think I'll have to do too much detail beyond that. And the further out from the core here we get, the less veins or stems or whatever this is. The less there is. So like out here where there's high visibility of the wing itself, there's not much need for this edge runner. I like it though. I like having this edge runner because it helps inform structure. And it gets rid of these little artifacts. These are those artifacts I talked about. You can see how there's the digital layering there. But if I put a crystal spine across it, you won't be able to see it. So just got to figure out what the density is to make it look good. And like sloppy knots are actually really really appropriate for these. So I don't have to worry about so much stain within the lines. I just need to, ultimately I just need to overwrite them, like I was saying. There's a bunch of kids that play in the neighborhood and I can hear them all the time outside my window. And there's this one kid, and he is obsessed with bodily injury. Like every time they're playing cops and robbers or, you know, Lord of the Rings or whatever the hell it is that kids play these days, whatever. They're just running around being kids and playing a game. This kid always insists that his arm is cut off or he's lost his legs. Earlier he was running around with a foam stick and he wanted to cut off everybody's head. I'm like, I don't know if it's just, I don't know if it's just odd, you know, that's just that kid, or if like there's a problem that needs to be reported to their parents. I suspect it's the former, but I think everyone suspects it's the former until they find out it's the latter. And then it's like, really, the signs were there. We just couldn't believe it. I don't want to be that guy, but I probably won't be living anywhere near him when it actually comes to that in like 5-10 years. So who knows where everyone's going to be in 5 to 10 years. I think I like that. This border here. I mean, it doesn't matter if you like or not whether you'll know where you are 5 years from now, because you're not going to know, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's kind of, you know, why scream at the sun? Oh, interesting. There's different stratas. There's the base background, and then there's like a really milked out version of this vein work, and then there's this more clearly. So there's 3 layers. There's the base layer, there's the smudged out layer underneath it, and then this thin veiny layer outside of it. That is interesting. I can probably do something with that. And let's just take a look here to verify. Yep, there's that marking all around the edges like I'm doing, so I'm doing that correctly. At least I'm doing it the same way that they are, which is correct enough to me. That means correct in my book. Safely outline that whole thing. This like that. Fill that in like that. Like that. Yeah, something like that. Got the kids screaming in the background like little howler monkeys. There's like 3 or 4 little girls, like, and they just like they all like scream at each other. So like just like this. That you'll hear occasionally is like, what are you kids doing? And let's come out myself today. Hey, great, glad to hear it. So this is a good environment to sit and relax while drawing. Thanks. I'm glad we can share this space. I am a general enthusiast of art collectives. I wouldn't specifically want to rent space, although I can see how in the past a studio like that where you had only an easel would have made a ton of sense. But the online environment, it's good just to, like I used to, I am blanking on his name. Really good cartographer. Wizards of the Coast uses him. He does black and white art. I used to hang out on his streams all the time when I was doing cartography stuff because I admire his work. I can't remember his name for the life of me. But anyway, he's still making maps. So when I do cartography, I'll occasionally check in with him to see how things are going. So, but yeah, right place, right time, right space, you know? Let's see, how are they resolving that space? Oh, I see, okay. I'm recognizing that I don't have much to say right now, and I'm just gonna have to be okay with that. But it is kind of a study hall environment today, I guess, isn't it? All right, that's the start of one wing. I think I like that dispersal. I may end up fading it out super heavy. Let's see how this guy looks up here. Hit the save button. Yeah, I could like smudge it out really heavy to get that kind of an effect going. Such a dope ship. So freaking cool. All right, so I think I'm okay with the general frame of it. So we're going to duplicate that layer and save it for later. I'm just gonna work on this one for now. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a high smudge on this one and then drop the opacity, and then I'm going to use the duplicate that I just created here. Like if I go with this and I drop this one down, and then like I can take this one, I duplicate that layer there, I can take this one, I can select everything, and then I can select modify, contract by 2, and then I can select inverse and then destroy. So now I have a thinner line pattern that I can have overlay on top of the wider smudge that you have underneath there, and I can drop the opacity of the smudge. So now you have this this striation effect. So hopefully I'll be able to make more sense of that as we go along. Hopefully that'll end up feeling right. So let's just keeping on, feeling strong. But yeah, I am at this point, I am happy with the structure of both ships, the angles, the engagement, the interaction that they have. So in this in this cover, we are officially on detail patrol. So we're just looking around the piece, seeing where we think we can produce duplicatable detail. Like, you don't want to hyper focus on one specific area with too much detail, because then when you pan out, you're like, oh Jesus, I've got all this other stuff to do. So you want to, anyway, I find that if I'm not working on everything at the same scale of rendering, then I end up having a problem with, like, maybe something that's supposed to be unimportant, backgroundy. I ended up grinding too much detail into it, and it's throwing off the atmospheric perspective or the detail because you can attain perspective by desaturating the color, reducing its size, and decreasing the detail. So if you get too detailed on things in the background up front, well, I mean, like, literally, if you treat the background like it is up front and add too much detail, then when you start working on the front pieces, the amount of detail that you have in the front piece has to have a finer level of a finer grain than the stuff in the background. Background should be more smudgy, like this abdomen that I have in the background. Where'd you go? Hold on. Yeah, so, like, I don't need that, other than fixing this corner over here, I don't need this any more detail here on this piece, because it's receding into the background, and plus it's partially covered by the wing effect. So all I need to do is really just hint at its presence and have about this level of detail back here. Just make sure that the geometry works. From there, as I keep moving forward in the ship, I can add more and more. Like, I can do like grain up here, but I don't want to have grain back here. That's too distant for you to see the grain of the structure as it was grown. So I can do more sheen and crystal-y stuff up here, like a coating, like patina, sorry. And I don't need to have that back here because the detail level changes. So anyway, that's the thought process behind that. So I want to make sure that while I'm going through this wing creation, this wing crystallizing process, that I'm working on it only one layer at a time, so that I can A, make sure that the other wing matches up with it, but B, make sure that I am controlling how much detail is being produced here in comparison to the nautiloid, which will be further up front. And the nautiloid is going to require more detail than the star moth is. So I'm starting with the star moth to get to a place where I'm happy with the level of detail without diving too hard into it. So as I pan closer with the nautiloid, I can use this as the benchmark for minimum detail necessary, but then zoom in closer. Like it's just a matter of zooming in closer and closer and closer is the more detail that you can do. Like, I can zoom into this level and I can further refine this this ring clamp that we created, right? So I can zoom in closer and get more detail than that, but I don't really need to. When I drop the nautiloid in, having that amount of, getting that close is actually important down here. Like, I'm going to need to clean up these edges, but you can't really pick up on it all that much at this scale. And the book itself, obviously, its initial view is here at this, again, at the 6.3% scale. There it is. Nerp. Yeah, about like that. That's what you're going to see on the DM's Guild, hopefully compelling you to, want to click in and get a better look at this thing. It'll be that big on the product page screen, and then when you click into it, it'll be this big. And this is the most detail you have until you download the document. And at that point, you can get like ridiculously close. So I'll want to have ridiculous close details here. Like, I can realistically, I can realistically work on a ring like this that circles around this entrance edge here, and then spokes out like that, and then I can have shapes like this. In a recurring pattern or whatever, to add levels of detail. So I don't need to have nearly that amount of detail on these wings that I'm working back here. This is actually pretty good. Actually, that looks pretty good. freaking great like that. You see that? That's a great effect. Holy crap. This is going to end up well. Hold on. Where was that? There it is. And we go back to this. Yeah, like that. Like that's a pretty good effect. So that's going to end up working out. So I can push this down to here. I can mute that for the moment. I can get this back into 100%. So yeah, obviously we see what the game plan is. I may as well just leave the nautiloid in place just to start informing myself about what lighting effects are going to be important. So yeah. Increase the opacity of my smudge brush so I want to keep the outer edges of these clean, but the inner edges I can you know, muss up. So we're this is sounding too loungy. I'm gonna switch the beat on this one. Yeah, that'll do. Water. My water break promotion, like, subscribe. Share it with a friend, leave a comment. Let me know what you were most excited about with Spelljammer. We all have a lot of things to hate on it, but hopefully this book fixes most of those problems. So, anyone that's gotten this far into the video, if you got comments about what you like the most about Spelljammer from 5e, I will say what I like the most is that they got rid of the crystal sphere. I hated crystal spheres. I hated the phlogiston. I think the astral sea is awesome. I love spending time in astral space. It's super cool. I think that was the best decision they made with 5e, bar none. Best decision. That's my vid. Where am I? I'm off screen. That means that I'm not zoomed in enough and I'm trying to lean in too much with my meat space. So let's just do that instead. There we go. I'm becoming more and more aware of how little I breathe when I do things. I need to breathe more. If I can keep my breath going, I can stay relaxed and comfortable. Yeah, that's an effort. There we go. Nice. Oh man, that effect is turning out just, I am happy. I am happy with this. I'm going to try to go to bed early tonight and catch like 8 hours of sleep and get up at 6:30 in the morning and start knocking out more of that Crystals of Mavar cover. As my gal is scooping out of, she's on her way. She should be back by 2. So if I get up, if I can knock down 8 hours of sleep, get up at 6:30, I can get a good solid 6, maybe 8 hours worth of artwork in on that Crystals cover, and probably have it done before Monday even starts. So I could probably do some insomnia work on it as well. But yeah, I am fully expecting that Mavar cover to be done by end of Monday. I think that's a reasonable expectation at this point. That's exciting. Once the cover is done, there's not much that can stop your project at that point. Like, the cover is the most difficult piece, and it sets the tone for the rest of the stuff that you're going to have inside of the book. Like, if you can put a good cover out, then it's going to carry you a number of pages into the document. So that's I've learned to do the cover first always, because it just completely sets the mood of the project, and it's something you can continue going back to whenever you feel like you're stuck on the project at some point. The worst thing that could happen is the best picture in the entire document has more attention given to it because you're not ready to tackle the interior stuff yet. So that's just it's just a great place to start. I used to do the cover last, but I found out that if I do that, I get sick of working on it, because if it was done already, I can publish, and then you start compromising the quality of the piece, because it's like this is the last thing before I publish it, and if that's what you're looking at for the best piece that's supposed to be in your ensemble, no, you got to do the cover first. Absolutely got to do the cover first. That's what I've learned over the past 2 years, and I think a good cover sells the project. Like I can pimp this cover for a while, as you know, coming soon. Spelljammer Combat and Exploration, and have this as the illustration. So that's just good promo stuff there. Do I want this? I don't even think I want this like that. I think I want to do this instead. I want to pull you in. I want to do that instead. That kid's just taking a mortal injury. You can tell by the way he screeches. He's been mortally wounded again. I'm gonna try doing that. Tilt that a little bit. That kid, he's always screaming about having his arm cut off or being shot. I don't know. He always seemed like such a nice boy. I never knew that he'd be capable of that. They'll all say in 10 years. Yeah, I grew up in the same neighborhood as him. He seemed like a good kid. Just couldn't fathom anyone capable of doing that. That's what they'll say. Whatever a horrible thing that this kid ends up doing to people, or, whatever. I'm going to do this. We're going to break this off into a separate layer. A little bit more control of that outer curve versus inner curve. I don't know, man. I just had the impulse to drink an entire bottle of Robitussin. I haven't tussined since high school. Why am I thinking of tussin? That is the worst. There's definitely something wrong with me. Please help. Freaking Robitussin. Oh my god, what are you doing, kid? So funny. Now I'm going to have to listen to MC Chris. I'm definitely going to have to paint offline later on tonight, because I haven't listened to MC Chris in age. He did a lot of the music for Aqua Teen Hunger Force. He's like Weird Al. He does spoof rap and like cosplay fan music stuff. He's funny, but he's funny. Snarky as all get out. He's great. MC Chris. Highly recommend. Let's do that. Not bad. Not bad. No, I've been at this for 40 minutes. Progress so far, so good. I can see myself being on here more than 2 hours, honestly. At this rate, like with this low expenditure of energy by just staring at the screen and pushing pixels, this is something, I mean, I can literally do this all day without talking. With talking, I think my longest stretch has been 8 hours. It may have been 10. I was on Twitch at one point. I don't think I knew about saving things yet. A lot of that artwork was just lost because I was dumb and just didn't understand that Twitch would dump my content after a while. I just figured it'd stick around. But that's what got me leaving. I didn't want the extra hassle of uploading from Twitch and then downloading, or downloading from Twitch and then uploading to YouTube. I just want to build it's already pushing my my sensibility to place posts on Discord channels that that I've gone live. Like Twitter, ideally I wouldn't do anything, but I don't have the kind of audience that's like, oh yeah, Phil's live, let's kick it. I don't have a self-producing source yet of algorithm goodness. So I have to spend time building shill. But then, I mean, I could have like a standardized card of some sort that I could use as like the presentation screen. I like the variety of seeing different like work in progress shots, like screenshots of what's going on. But I don't know if it's necessarily good for like attracting an audience. So this is a little bit too frazzly. Too much going on there. I need to rein that in. Like the more I make it a production, the more it becomes a business, the less mobile and free I feel, and the more it becomes something I don't want to do because I resent all the prep work that goes on to it, as opposed to just like click, click, click. We're live and we're painting. Let's do it. Like the more showmanship I have to put into it, the less productive it is. I originally started doing this just because I wanted to hold myself accountable for the 60 pieces of art I would have to do for the core mechanics book. And my God, I can't afford to procrastinate at all on these pieces if I'm going to get this thing released. So I had to start streaming to guarantee that the hours are being put in. Like you can literally watch me put in the hours. That's how things got started. And I think I can afford to get rid of this. But I liked it, and I was building an audience pretty easily. So it just made sense to keep doing it. And then I was like, well, this is a great way for me to do a proof of concept for when I start doing Kickstarters. I can just point you to my website, to my YouTube channel. It's like, here's me building a book from scratch, and here it is, a Mithril bestseller. Obviously, I produce good content that people want, that they'll buy. That is the path. That is the dream that I wish to achieve for myself in this process. So I can just continue building an audience that's interested in just hanging out and listening to me long tooth about days of yore, or study hall artwork with me, or whatever it is I got my ramble on about that day, if anything. I'm about 60 seconds behind you in the stream, but I'm gonna stay on while I work on my minion follower. Cool, dude. I've been experimenting with a class that operates like a cult leader as well as other leader types. So far, it's been finicky. The mechanics, you mean? It took me 9 months to figure out stable mechanics for commanding troops. So if it takes you a while to get it to the place where you like it, don't be discouraged. If it was easy, Wizards would have obviously already done it. If it's difficult, we know why Wizards hasn't. Which has got me really wondering, what are they going to do about this home base idea that they've realized people love for 5e characters. I can't imagine them jimmying a system that takes it takes me 40 pages to express it. I reckon they're going to devote maybe 5 pages to it, and I'll be really impressed if they can come up with something more elegant that's more flexible and statistically consistent than I have. But I like seeing other people's efforts. I'm not looping you in like that. We're like one guy operations, us. If we can come up with anything that's productive at all without having a $1 million backstarter kicker or a $950 million revenue generator like Wizards of the Coast, like if we can create anything that mechanically is sound compared to what any of those guys have put out, then you deserve a pat on the back, because it is a difficult effort to create in that space on your own. The end. Yeah, followers in second edition, first edition, box sets. It was cool. I loved having followers. The Sohi got I think the Sohi got 60. I want to say they got, was it 48 followers at like 4th level? It was something ridiculous like that. The Oriental Handbook was crazy. Like it was minion mad. I love the Sohei. That guy was so cool. It was in this interesting middle space between Paladin and Ranger, you know? Like it was like almost like an off monk. It wasn't, I don't know. Maybe that's where my obsession with monks being half-casters came from. That's honestly, that's probably where my obsession with monks being half-casters came from, now that I'm really thinking about it. I love the Oriental Adventures book in first edition. It was awesome. Pretty detailed and solid checklist of what I want it to do. Okay, I just have to figure out how to convert that to actual mechanics. That is the gold star, sir. That is why we earned the big bucks. Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm so good with that, I'm going to build another one. Let's build another one. I'm going to call all this mess Wing Filigree. Boom. This is not where I'm at. I'm only over here right now. select various followers of different types and quantities that each have an assigned point cost. Okay. I was talking with Awesome Soul about it and a bit on the stream a day or two ago, but it has a max following, which is basically like spell points, but for followers. Huh. Mechanics, yeah, right on, man. I'm going to find that torso. Bit. Yeah, that feels right. Shot. What are we talking about? That you could either have a sizable group operating like a swarm but weaker overall, or smaller single or elite followers. Sort of finding the concepts, but that's where I'm at with the base feature. Yeah, right on, man. Are you doing you probably know we broke things up into tiers or ranks 1 to 5. So, and everything scales off of the rank. I don't assume that you would do the same mechanical approaches to stuff that I did, but you can manipulate points pretty easily by comparing against CRs and stuff like that. You know, you probably already figured that out, or you're already futzing with it and you're in the process of making it work. Right. Nice. Also have some invocation like features called tenets. Nice. And a sacrifice mechanic that lets the class take followers' hit points in order to do other things. Yes. Nice. Yes, sacrificing sacrificing an ally to get like a temporary spell point or something like that. It's yeah, we were playing with ideas like that too. I don't wanna try to influence your path. I'm interested in seeing how you do it. And I'm off screen again, I see. So why don't we try to... But yeah, there's a hunger for troop command in 5e. There's enough of us old guards running around still that are used to having followers that were like, where's the followers? And it's not the kind of game that they built 5e to be. Like, that's the difference between heroic fantasy and epic fantasy. Epic fantasy is like the character isn't nearly as important as the efforts or the deeds that they perform and the people that they lead and the things that they influence, versus heroic fantasy, which is just focusing on the individual hero and their efforts. It's a different genre of game. It's a different type of story. And WotC's always been really upfront that it's heroic fantasy. They're not invested in troop following. That is epic fantasy, which is a different type of game. And I think people that complain don't understand the difference. Like, you have to, if you're like vehicle combat is at the very fringe edge of heroic fantasy. So they're going to have very simple rules that narratively get the characters to the place they need to be to do the heroic fantasy thing. The vehicles are more of a Indiana Jones icon pushing across a map over 3 days, and then you disembark, and then, you know, you start the next round of playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat up game. You know, with intermittent family angst or whatever. Yeah, that's pretty fun. I'm pretty happy with that. Hell yeah, dude. This is working. Yeah. So far so good. So what? Just keep at it. Let's get the nautiloid out of the way, and let's get the torso out of the way again. Let's open a spot here. Trying to decide whether to lean into magical abilities for the class in combat or to make it more of a martial character fighting alongside the followers. Well, if you make it a clearly defined line between the two, it certainly opens up additional design space for you to create a left and a right lane, as it were. It's 1 hour. That's it? Wow. Man, it's just looking cool. Oh, this is going to be such a great painting. Such a good painting. Thank you. It's coming along. That's for sure. Yeah. Damn, that's so cool. That is so fun. I love this piece. I'm super happy with it. No time for love, Dr. Jones. Yeah, having unique art in your book is you know, not being the 14th person to use the same Dean Spencer cover. You know, it's like, which book was that? I don't know. It's just impossible not to know my books. Like once you understand once you recognize my style after a few books, like, oh yeah, that's definitely a Phil book, or Phil was involved in this project. You can tell. So I'm really happy about that. Just having a unique style. Regardless of what type of style it is, having a style that you can easily identify as you, that's awesome. I mean, that unto itself is an accomplishment that I'm proud of. But it takes time, and it's like I don't know. I don't know. There's more gifted artists than I that will argue that it doesn't take that long to establish a style for yourself. But nothing in my life has been fast and easy, and the more I try to make things fast and easy, the more I end up regretting. So I've learned to appreciate the patience, and if it's supposed to be something special that you know I've achieved, then nothing's going to get in the way of it having been something that I achieved. It's other people can have similar ideas, but they will noticeably be different from mine. Other people can have, I don't know. Like as long as you're bringing something fresh and different to the table, there's no reason why you can't have multiple people exploring the same space without being competitive or jealous about it. And it takes a lot of self-confidence in the work that you're doing to not be afraid that, you know, someone's gonna do your thing. At least that's what I found anyway. Whatever that's worth. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling. Any custom art helping. This is OYI. Absolutely. Well, it's just the time as an expense isn't the same when it's something that you're producing yourself. Like you can invest time in finding stock art, you can spend money purchasing a piece of stock art from somebody or whatever. But actually creating it yourself, it becomes something that you can that becomes infinitely useful to you because it's something that you've produced. Like I've talked about artwork that I made, some of the interior artwork that I produced for the Color Mana books that I did end up being cover art in other small projects. Like the smaller dollar amount the project is, the more likely I am to repurpose interior art and either restructure it or just add an additional detail to what it was so that it can serve as a cover now. Or if I initially built it strong enough that it can stand on its own as a cover piece, then it's good to go. But yeah, being able to create your own art assets like that opens up a lot of options for you with your productions. That should be intuitive, but I think it's worth saying anyway. Too small. Thinking too small, Kearney. That's probably better. Still a lot smaller than that. That's what I get for zooming in too much. I have to redo the whole thing. Yeah, something like that. That's what we're talking about. Yes, this is going to work out very, very nicely. Let's see about dropping the opacity a bit. So we dropped that to 35. Got this. I'm going to take a new layer. this. Just gonna do a smudge fade. That. There we go. Pretty happy with that. Yeah, that. Let's get rid of the torso real quick. So we can do the same over here. Just like that. Now we can shift the opacity a bit on that one. Take that one to 50%. Now we're starting to get a little bit more depth in the image. I'm gonna have to fix that tentacle. This is just a mask layer that I'm putting over the entire nautiloid tentacle area. This is what I was supposed to have done instead of erasing the actual tentacle like a moron. But you know, c'est la vie. Like I can completely, obviously it's a mask, so it disappeared, and I can bring it back. Out here, I think the opacity is high enough, or I think that the wing is thin enough that this is the proper amount of transparency, but this up here is a thicker resin, so that needs to be more faint. So I think that accomplishes the job. Yep, now we're trying to get that depth. Once I'm content with the overall illustration of the star moth as is, then when we drop the nautiloid in, like I can start doing like shading and stuff like this, like where the light isn't catching it across the crystal here, and like the lighting effect, the underlighting here, and then here, and then in here and here. But I can build out the moth the way it's supposed to be built out, and then I can overlay the cast shadow in a layer between the nautiloid and the star moth is the cast shadow the nautiloid is putting onto the star moth. So I can still have the highlights hitting where they're supposed to be hitting with the light sources that we're defining inside the piece, without preventing us from having it feel like the nautiloid is literally wrapping itself around it. And then with the nautiloid, I'll be able to have a layer on top of the Nautiloid with cast shadow coming from the Star Moth onto the Nautiloid, so I can have those two blend together even more. But I won't do that until the filigree is done, because the filigree will again be impacted by the type of lighting that falls on it depending on where we're finding the sources. And it's easier for us to define the cast shadow sources onto the Star Moth first, and then use that to inform the depth of shadow that we'll have on the Nautiloid when we do cast shadows onto that. And then we can do debris and breakaway, like we can do a mask layer to cover up pieces of the Nautiloid where this you know, the siege blade is carving off pieces of it. Siege melee weapons is by far the coolest thing ever. It's like some serious outlaw star shit going on there. Super cool. So that is a success. And that is a success in progress. So let's keep on progressing. Now that we know exactly what we're doing with this piece and why, we're better informed to be able to come through and resolve this wing webbing. So let's keep at it. Yeah, that's full opacity. All right. Oh yeah, good point. There we go. Like that. Just like that. Echt. Oh, very convincing. Just like that. I hear you. All right, let's keep it. 6 o'clock, it's time to rock. Whew, man, that is rough, dude. Well, I'm glad that you're hanging out with us. I mean, obviously there's not a lot of conversation going on here. Study hall. Huh. Oh, I see. Right. That makes sense now. We'll see. We'll see how things go. Where are we? We're here. I'm happy with how this is coming along. Almost there. Stay on target. Still on screen? Good. Purge down. Save button. Clean up the edges. Yeah, that feels right. Ugh. I understand. We got 620? Yeah. Pretty happy so far. Pretty happy. Tired. Let's see if I can finish up the wings before I cut out. Okay. I've just realized I've set a barrier between eating food. Yeah, I put this project between me and eating food. That is not good because I am hungry. It's ultimately going to lead to me having to stop sooner than I anticipated to feed the beast. Probably too much. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Okay. I think my brain is pushing me out pushing me out of here. My hunger wants to be served. So that's about an hour and 50 minutes. I think that's where I'm going to cut it. But I'm going to continue with. I'm going to put some food in my gullet, and I think I'm going to listen to some Pantera and continue with this web work. But I mean, you can see where it's going and what it's doing. So the stuff I do off stage isn't going to be that significant. But I'm going. So I mean, it's just detail work. So it's not like you guys are missing that much. But so I'm going to finish the wings, and once the wings are finished, then I'm going to worry about the highlight and the filigree along the star moth's frame here. And then I will work across the nautiloid shell here, and this area here is the main area of focus. And then I'll work on these tentacles some more because they're not quite good to go yet. What? I'm missing one. Who am I missing? That guy. That guy. Yeah, oof, he needs to get fixed. So yeah, I got some work to still do. But I'm going to do the tentacles last, so I can finish up the wings, then the body of the star moth. So from wings to star moth to nautiloid shell to tentacles to planet to star field, and then we'll be done. Honestly there's probably another 10 hours on this thing, maybe 12, depending on how much I'm going to nitpick at what needs to be done. But I think I'm pretty happy with it. Whew, man, yeah, so far so good. So I'm gonna put some food in my belly and keep doing this, and I'll probably be around tomorrow morning to do some more Eberron art in the morning. And then once my gal is around in the afternoon, I'll be out for the day, but still I'll probably be on social, like on Discord and Twitter. And then I'll be back Monday lunch for Martial Powers development. And then Monday night we'll be back on Eberron, either finishing the artwork if for some reason it's not done if it's not done tomorrow morning, then I'll be able to finish it Monday night. If it's finished before Monday night, then I'll get back to work on maps. So that's our next lineup for the next few days, and I'm going to take off now. Like I said, my muse is just saying you have to take a break, and I have to take a break, just like I have to push pixels when she says. So I love you guys. Thanks a lot for being here. Like, subscribe, check out my work on the DMs Guild, link below. Catch me on Twitter below so that you'll know when I jump online like this. You can hang out with me in study hall. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the other side. Thanks a lot.